In the world of Yakuza, Japan's fearsome mafia, only one man matters. A man who crawled through the radioactive wasteland of his birthplace to the very top. A man whose #1 motto is power, power, power. In today's video, we will explore his life and how he became the mastermind behind Japan's most feared criminal organization. This is the story of Kenichi Shinoda. A legend is born. Born in 1942, towards the end of the Second World War, Kenichi Shinoda had a pretty rough childhood. Crime was high and the standard of living was quite low. The war ended 3 years later, but Japan was still yet to recover from the huge descent of its economy, as well as the effects of the atomic bombings dropped on its soil. This affected the mobster's childhood, but he still managed to attend school and enrolled at Oita Prefectural Fisheries High School. Throughout his time at school, Shinoda was gradually influenced by the gang activities and crime happening around him. But he still managed to finish school and get a job at a major local fisheries company. However, it didn't last long, as Shinoda decided that he didn't want his future to be a boring and normal one in a struggling Japan. Therefore, he decided to start his crime career soon after. If you made it this far, how about you consider subscribing to the channel and liking the video? It really helps us out and allows us to keep bringing you high-quality content about the Mafia world. Thanks, we appreciate you. Yakuza Career. His Yakuza career officially started in 1962 when Shinoda joined an affiliate of the Yamaguchi-gumi Yakuza group. This affiliate was named Hirota-gumi and was based in Nagoya. His stay with this group formed the basis of his criminal life, and he soon rose up the ranks to the very top. Rising in the criminal world doesn't come without its fair share of troubles though, and trouble found its way to Shinoda a couple of years later. As the head of a Yakuza group, albeit a small one, he was still plagued with fending off rivals. At the time, another rival Yakuza boss pushed Shinoda to his limits, and in an anime-style execution, Shinoda ended his life with a katana. This skyrocketed Shinoda's influence in the underworld, and he got attention from the Kemicho, aka chairman of the Yamaguchi-gumi, the largest Yakuza clan. However, with that sort of attention, it wasn't long before he got attention of the wrong kind of group, the law. His action against the Yakuza boss caused him to be arrested and convicted of murder. This conviction cost him 13 long years in prison. But it did little to hinder Shinoda from reaching his goal. He was very determined to reach the very top, and the prison walls did little to hold him back, as he still remained very active in spite of incarceration. After his release, he became a more active boss of the affiliate group and was proving that the Yakuza life was truly made for him. Therefore, when the Hirota-gumi was disbanded, Shinoda wasn't fazed at all. Rather, he decided it was time to move on. And move on he did. However, instead of joining another Yakuza group, Shinoda decided it was time for him to create his own. A new path. In 1984, he created Kodakai, and this became the Nagoya-based Yamaguchi-gumi affiliate. He started the group with 24 other Yakuza members, including Kiyoshi Takayama, a fellow smart Yakuza partner. Takayama was the right partner for Shinoda, and the duo made a match made in heaven as the newly formed Kodakai flourished under their command. The branch was so successful that it not only passed the influence of Hirota-gumi, but also expanded to 18 other prefectures. In their expansion, Shinoda and his partner expanded to the Kanto region, a region that was not traditionally under Yamaguchi's control, but they were able to make this work without much of an issue. Taking it a step further, the Kodakai became more of a financial mafia, as their involvement in banking and investment banking within the criminal underworld grew. Shinoda did this without neglecting the more traditional Yakuza-friendly businesses like real estate, securities, and the entertainment industry. In an effort to make his branch more useful and acknowledged by the headquarters, Shinoda also began to operate a private intelligence organization and soon became one of the most profitable Yakuza factions in the country. Aside from their other ventures, Kodakai was still raking in money from controlling stevedoring and warehousing companies at the port of Nagoya and maintaining a monopoly over sex-oriented establishments in the Nagoya area. And in a side job, they made a huge fortune by being exclusive supplier of rock, sand, and gravel for the Shibuya Central International Airport's construction project. The war. Being the head of a fast-growing branch wasn't the only thing Shinoda did. In an effort to join the headquarters, Shinoda was a key figure in the Yakuza Wars, and most especially the Yamaichi War. This was a grand war that mainly took place in the Kansai region from 1985 to 1989, all because of the power struggle that occurred in Yamaguchi-gumi. After the natural death of Kazuteoka, the legendary boss that grew Yamaguchi-gumi to the largest Yakuza clan, there was a power vacuum. His second-in-command, or Wakagashira, Kenichi Yamamoto, was in prison at the time. Hence, the lieutenants decided to wait for his release to take the position of Kamicho. However, Yamamoto died just a year later in prison due to liver failure. Things happened too fast, so the lieutenants decided to place an acting boss in place for the meantime. The person selected was Hiroshi Yamamoto and Masahisa Takanaka as second-in-command. Things changed for the worse when the second-in-command Takanaka was chosen as the Kamicho, or chairman of the Yamaguchi-gumi, instead of the then-acting boss. Hiroshi Yamamoto, who acted as the acting boss, didn't like this one bit, and he decided to create his own Yakuza faction, known as the Ichiwakai. Full of spite, Yamamoto ordered the assassination of Takanaka, and on January 26, 1985, this hit was carried out. While waiting for an elevator in his girlfriend's home in Suita, Tanaka, his second-in-command, and another subordinate were shot in a very bloody assassination that resulted in retaliation from the Yamaguchi-gumi faction. In retaliation, the larger Yamaguchi-gumi fought back against their rogue members' newly opened faction, which resulted in a very bloody war that shook the entire Japan. The new acting Kamicho, Kazuo Nakanishi, and his second-in-command Yoshinori Watanabe made a scathing vow to wipe out Ichiwakai and Hiroshi Yamamoto from the surface of the earth. The acting heads, with the support of other branches of Yamaguchi-gumi, such as Kodakai, the second-largest branch of the syndicate, headed by Kenichi Shinoda, rained down fire on the Ichiwakai factor. After the fight claimed almost 40 lives and was pushed over the edge, Ichiwakai couldn't handle the pressure anymore. They were not only outnumbered, but also outpowered, so they took the coward's way out by seeking police protection. With their tails between their legs, they sought help of the Inagawakai, the third-largest Yakuza clan, which was neutral in the entire feud. This Tokyo clan acted as a mediator and helped them settle their differences. They pleaded with Yamaguchi-gumi to allow the defectors back into the clan, as they seemed to have learned their lesson. Meanwhile, the jealous Yakuza boss who caused the feud, Hiroshi Yamamoto, retired. Entry into headquarters. Due to his contributions during the war, Shinoda was offered a smooth entry into the Yamaguchi-gumi main clan in the early 1980s. After about a decade and a half, Shinoda was finally made Wakagashira Osa, third in command. At this point, Yoshinori Watanabe was the Kamicho, but his second in command, Masaru Takumi, who was the head of Takumi-gumi, held way more power. He was so powerful that his influence overshadowed Watanabe's. After Watanabe's strange retirement and Takumi's death by his subordinates, the leadership position was vacant once more. The vacuum continued for some 8 years, and the Yamaguchi-gumi control began to weaken before Shinoda stepped in, August of 2005, as the Kamicho of the main clan. This was a rather surprising turn of events, as Shinoda became the only Kamicho who didn't come from the Kansai region. After his inauguration, Shinoda selected his longtime partner, Kiyoshi Takayama, as the second-in-command, and the duo did what they knew how to do best, expansion. And together, they strengthened the weak Yamaguchi-gumi and expanded it further. However, Shinoda's reign as Kamicho wasn't a smooth one, as it was marred by multiple trials. Being a public figure, he caught a lot of attention, and in just 4 months after being named the supreme boss, he was convicted of the possession of a firearm and was sentenced to 6 years in prison. After his release in 2011, Shinoda realized that the Japanese government weren't the only ones paying attention to him, as in 2012, the Obama administration of the US imposed sanctions on him and his Wakagashira Takayama as being linked to other international criminal bodies. However, this doesn't hinder Shinoda much, as he continues to make sure the Yamaguchi-gumi continues to flourish. Remaining in the public eye till his old age, Shinoda still manages to keep his private life under lock and key, a trait that is seen in a true Yakuza. Still leading Yamaguchi-gumi as the 6th Gumicho, Kenichi Shinoda remains as strong at the old age of 82. What do you think of the legacy of the Yakuza Godfather? And how well do you think he can adapt to the changing crime scene in Japan? Let us know in the comments below. And for more dark stories of the underworld, subscribe to the channel and ring the notification bell to never miss an update.